سعادة السيد
Distinguished President of the Human Rights Council, Madam High Commissioner, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you. At the outset, I would like to express my deepest respect and appreciation to you all, wishing you all success in the promotion and protection of human rights all over the world. I would like to particularly thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, on your able guidance and wish you success. Mr. President, 2 years have gone by since the beginning of the glorious February Revolution, during which peaceful Libyans took to the streets, to the squares, calling for freedom and dignity after 42 years of dictatorship and oppression. However, the oppressive regime put into operation its killing machine in the cities and villages of Libya. The international community, led by the Human Rights Council and the Security Council, took a stand that we will never forget. They stood steadfast against the extermination of Libyan civilians. On this occasion, 2 years ago, the representative of Libya, the Secretary General of the Human Rights Institution, made a statement that day which led to the referral of Libya to the Security Council, which adopted the 2 resolutions, 1970 and 1973. We inherited a failed state, paralyzed institutions, a bankrupt treasury, a country. We inherited a country from a regime that spread chaos and destruction and caused destabilization not only in Libya but in the region as a whole, especially neighboring countries. This is what prevented us from meeting our urgent obligations, including addressing human rights violations. Mr. President, in spite of that, my country has sought to achieve the objectives and the ambitions for which thousands of Libyans sacrificed their lives. We are building a new Libya based on democracy, pluralism, human rights, and the rule of law. The government of Libya, since it came to power, has sought to speed up reform and the rebuilding of various sectors. We have invested all our capacities and have taken advantage of the solidarity of the international community. I have to say here that we greatly commend and are greatly grateful to the United Nations and its specialized agencies for their assistance. We would particularly like to single out the United Nations office in Libya, which is playing a pivotal role in providing technical assistance and strategic advice, as well as providing support to the transition to democracy, the empowerment of women, and to enable the people to participate in the decision-making process, the promotion of the rule of law, monitoring of human rights, reforming the judiciary, the police, the army, the prison system, and providing assistance to ensure transitional justice and national reconciliation. On this occasion, I would like to refer to the enormous efforts made by the head, Dr. Tariq Mitri, the head of the UN office, and Mr. Martin Allen, for which we are greatly grateful and have contributed positively to developments in Libya. Mr. President, The present economic, political and social transformations taking place in Libya today are taking place thanks to the solidarity and friendship of many countries. The government of Libya has started the process of the rebuilding of many sectors in accordance with priorities laid down by present conditions. A number of measures, legislative and executive, have been taken in coordination with the various bodies and authorities, taking into account the protection and respect for human rights and public freedoms. Among these measures, respect for the provisions of constitutional declaration and the election of the General National Congress, which took place on the 7th of July 2012. Libyans elected the General National Council, which replaced the Transitional National Council. We have also carried out the selection of the members of the government through fair and free elections. We are currently meeting a provision of the constitutional declaration, which is the setting up of the Constituent Assembly to draw up the new constitution. In accordance with the constitutional declaration, the General National Congress has also ratified a number of international conventions, such as the International Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and its optional protocol. We are currently preparing for the accession to the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture, as well as the International Convention on Enforced Disappearances. The government of Libya has also authorized the visit of the Working Group on Enforced Disappearances, as well as the visit of the Working Group on Mercenaries next May. And regarding the implementation of Resolution 1939 regarding the provision of technical assistance and capacity building to Libya through direct cooperation between the Office of the High Commissioner and the government of Libya, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the United Nations Office in Libya have begun detailed discussions on the mechanism to implement the aforementioned resolution. A preliminary agreement has been reached in order to set up a mechanism which would allow implementation of the resolution in coordination between the two parties. Regarding security, advances have been made in restructuring the police, and we have begun implementing a training and rehabilitation program. Regarding the justice, we are currently working on enforcement of the rule of law and justice. We have also drawn up a plan in order to take effective and legal control of the prisons with full judicial control, which is supposed to be completed by the middle of this year. The infrastructure is also being built in order to deal with thousands of detainees. Currently, all judicial bodies are being restructured, including the judicial police, by providing training and equipment. We are also enacting the necessary legislation to ensure transitional justice and national reconciliation. This legislation will soon be issued by the General National Congress. On the institutional level, the year 2012 has witnessed a number of infrastructural transformations, such as the establishment of a National Council for Human Rights and Public Freedoms, which works in parallel with the government for the promotion and protection of human rights and monitoring of violations. And the establishment also of a Human Rights Commission from among members of the General National Council to monitor the respect for human rights by government officials and holding them to account when necessary. It is presided over by a woman. providing encouragement for the formation of civil society human rights organizations. The government has also sought to repeal all laws and executive orders which would restrict the enjoyment of human rights and public freedoms. Mr. President, my country is seeking to spread a culture of human rights through the spread of the rule of law, social peace, social justice, empowerment of women, and to eliminate injustice committed against women, to encourage women to pursue their education, to seek productive work in all fields. The government is also supporting maternal and child health, as well as persons with disabilities and with special needs. Mr. President, the world will not live in safety and peace unless peoples and countries have mutual respect for each other. And through that, we can build democracy, and we will be able to empower people. In conclusion, I would like once again to express my thanks to the United Nations and the Human Rights Council for their support of the Libyan people. I would like to address you, sir, and the Human Rights Council to thank you and express to you my gratitude for having given me this opportunity to speak here before you. Thank you.